That's not what she was just saying. I was just saying Miss Saban was bragging on Toby, and I said, well, he's right in there. So, and she said she loved this Hampton Inn. So do we. Dakarai Larriett,
Yes.
correct, is a candidate for the U.S. Senate. That the seat that will be up for grabs following I guess the resignation. You know, I don't even know if Senator Tuberville, of course, he's still in the Senate now, but he has announced his plans to run for governor.
Right.
So there will, barring some major something that happens, something very unforeseen, there will be probably a special election for U.S. Senate. So good to have you here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Kip.
Dakarai.
It's such an honor.
Absolutely. And tell me a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised Alabamian and graduate of the University of Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. And I'm an entrepreneur and community leader outside of Birmingham.
Mm-hmm. So Birmingham's home right now,
Birmingham's
right?
home, yes.
So have you already? I'm just learning about you. Is this your first run for a political office, or have you run for other offices that you want to talk about?
This is my first run. But the important thing, Kip, is I've been serving my community my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's delivering for Meals on Wheels, working in the kitchen, working for unhoused dogs at the Greater Humane Society, I've been doing it.
I like you already now. I've got a lot of rescues. So, I say this to every candidate that comes on here. 28 years ago was one of the toughest decisions I ever had to make. As I talked, my mom was such an advisor, and I'd say, it was a difficult decision. I said, no, I just don't want to run. It's dirty. Some things, I just don't know if I want to put up with all this. Greatest decision I ever made in my life was that morning I woke up and I told my mother, I said, we're doing this. And so I never looked back after that. How difficult was the decision for you?
Yeah. The decision came to me after my false arrest, and I just knew that I could not live with myself if I didn't fight for other people behind me and to prevent that type of abuse. So it was an easy decision, but I know this journey is going to be tough. It's a year and a half of just pounding pavement.
Well, I didn't know that either about what you just said about her false arrest, but that really gives you drive and determination, does it not?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we find out, to me, my district is to me it's huge, but I can't imagine running statewide.
Yes.
This is
a full-time job.
A beautiful but a very large. Tuscaloosa County itself is larger than the state of Rhode Island.
Wow.
So you got your work out, So how are you strategically attacking the state of Alabama to get your message out there? Like tonight,
right?
For example,
it is about being everywhere all at once. So I was just up in Huntsville. I treat Huntsville as a day trip. Pretty much any part of the state, since I'm in Jefferson County, I can get to and come back within a day.
True.
Today, we'll see once the events start stacking up. Mobile, I have to kind of do an overnight trip.
Sure.
But it's about that FaceTime, getting there with the people, answering the questions, and then leveraging social media. So we filmed a video a couple weeks ago with a rapper. So that's a demographic and an age group that I'm no longer a part of, but we're talking to everybody. That's how we're doing it. You
absolutely have to. That's one of the things I've got to get better at with doing this statewide talent show I do. I've just got to make sure somehow I've got to recruit some help to meet all demographics.
Right.
And so I can't imagine now what it would be like without social media, especially if you're running a statewide campaign. When I grew up, Dakarai, there was you never saw a Republican on a ballot, and because I think what happened, the big fight, if you know the Alabama history very well, between Jim Folsom, not Jim Folsom, he was Charlie Graddick, who was the state attorney general, and Bill Baxley, who was the vice governor?
Lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor. They got in a big dispute, and challenged the ballots, and it's kind of like the hanging Chad down in Florida. Well, the results were reversed. Enter Guy Hunt, a little, primitive Baptist preacher out of Coleman, Alabama, and he's all of a sudden with no political experience. Well, he was a probate judge there. He's governor of Alabama, and then I don't think it's hardly a Democrat has been elected statewide since. After the last one was one of the members of our Supreme Court. But that infighting among the Democrats at the time turned Alabama from blue to red.
Right.
So what do you think about, how are you going to, obviously any Democrat running statewide is an underdog.
Yeah.
So how are you trying to get into that, beyond that 40% who are independents to Republicans to make them see and listen to you?
Yeah. So, it is about building coalitions everywhere. So we talked about that 25 and under urban population that likes rap. I'm also going to talk to gun owners. I'm a gun owner. I'm going to talk to University of Alabama fans. I graduated from University of Alabama. So when you move beyond the kind of D and R and just start talking to people about the issues, that's how you get to that 51%. And it's the policies that matter to people. So we're focusing on kitchen table issues, education, economic opportunity, and healthcare. We all want those things. We all want to see Alabama do better. We're sicker, poorer, and less educated than the rest of the country, and it doesn't have to be that way.
That positively doesn't have to be that way. There were some mistakes made. I don't know why the state decided not to take the millions of Medicaid money from Medicaid, wasn't it? And in that time, because I think healthcare continues to be such a struggle, especially in the more rural counties. I had a guy running for state senate here, Huey Minor. I don't know if you met Huey or not. You need to, because he's running for against State Senator Allen, and he's an Army vet and had worked as a congressional aide. But his number one reason for running is the hospital closing in Pickens County. We're seeing more of the rural hospitals closing across the country, really, but especially here in Alabama, where you don't need to be that far away from health care if you've had a stroke, if you had a heart attack, something like that. I think that's a major issue.
Right. I was just in Anniston speaking to a ladies group, and I believe one woman said she's already driving 90 minutes for her care, and she's a senior citizen.
There you go.
So you push that to 2 hours, that's the difference between life and death. And then the other end of the spectrum is maternal care. So women are losing maternal care and access. This is unacceptable, and we've got to do better by all Alabamians.
By the way, this is a Democrat that owns a gun, okay?
Absolutely. So
you answer it because I get tickled, because sometimes they feel like, some of the national stuff is so ridiculous. That said, it's just the fact that you are a gun owner, and why?
Of course. It's fun. So it is. It's a sport. It's like any other sport. For me, it's just recreation. Now, my family is from Prattville, Alabama, so we have a history of hunting. We still have acres and acres of land there, and we hunt. That is cultural. It's how we used to feed ourselves 3 or 4 generations ago.
Yeah.
So this is a part of Alabama's culture. The challenge, though, is how do we do it safer? And so we can look at states like Massachusetts that have astronomically low gun deaths. How are they doing that?
Right.
They ask a few more questions before they give the guns to prospective owners, and we can do the same thing here.
As should be.
Absolutely.
I really agree with that.
Right.
And because we want the most responsible people having a gun.
Right.
No
right.
doubt.
Right.
And so, so you were were you born in Prattville?
I was born in Birmingham.
Born in Birmingham. So, right now, is there any set date or anything for a special election, or do you have any idea?
As far as we understand, Senator Tuberville is just not running for re-election, so that means that...
Oh, it wouldn't be a special election.
Correct. We'll follow the normal cadence, which will be a May 19th primary, 2026.
Okay.
And then the general election is like November 3rd of 2026.
Because I remember, he was here on our show.
Okay.
When he first ran for Senate.
Oh, wow.
And so, gosh, is that almost
This
been
is a great
5
Harbinger
years? It is. It is. We've had, one of my favorite stories of all time was Jim Folsom, Jr., and the Birmingham News that day had him losing about 10 points. And so, anyway, he comes on my show, the election eve.
Okay.
He comes on the little Kip Tyner show, and he said, we're going to win. He said, forget what Birmingham News says. Our polls show we're going to win by about 2%.
Okay.
He did.
Oh, wow.
Just
Okay.
by that margin.
Okay.
So he strolled in. He could have been flying across from airport to airport doing the things that most candidates do on the last day.
Yeah.
But he spent the time on our little show
Oh.
because we have a good relationship, but he wasn't worried about. He didn't want to go to the big stations that were going to be so negative about what the poll numbers were showing, because he said we did our own polling and we're not buying it.
That's great.
So Luther Strange, that's who he was running.
Okay.
And Luther Strange, he said, was supposed to be 10% ahead, but Folsom ended up, of course, winning. So, are you working on, like you have here, Chad Jackson here, Donna Stadmeyer with SELC, hosting the event tonight,
Right.
at the McDonald Hughes
5
Center.
p.m.
5 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. Is it you going to talk and then it's going to be open questions, meet and greet, or what?
Absolutely. So I like to say I'm on a 67-county listening tour. So I want to keep my remarks to a minimum and really start getting feedback from the community. And one thing we also did, Kip, is we did a poll. So it's posted on my social media. You can also go to my website,
Okay.
DakaraLarriett.com. We're trying to figure out how do we get a policy proposal that can garner 51% of the vote
Right.
in November. So that's really what I'm doing, is gathering information and listening tonight.
Because I think, like you said, it's probably, I think I'm probably accurate. We're looking at probably a solid 40% right now. So you've got to work at getting 11% of the vote on your
Yes,
side.
Exactly.
So, and that's something that and I believe, like you said, you're gonna you're not afraid of hard work.
Not at all.
And that's what it's going to take, so for sure. But our show runs across the state. Like I said, my talent show brought in people from Fairhope and Anniston and Oxford, and they all saw our advertising here. So, are you trying to get like a 1-point person in every county?
So
Would that be the goal?
That'll be the goal as we move into next year and we start the ground game and the phone banking. Right now, we're a year and a half out. It really is early.
Right.
I'm starting early because I don't have the name recognition
Yeah,
yet.
you're very wise, to start early,
Right.
Because you don't know exactly who the opposition may be.
Right.
I've heard Steve Marshall's name more than anyone, who's currently, he's currently our Attorney General, but he doesn't have great name recognition. I guarantee I could go outside here today and ask 10 people who Steve Marshall is, and maybe 1 or 2 might know.
Right.
But if I went out and asked who Tommy Tuberville is, chances that at least 9 people would know.
And that's the beauty. I love my state. That's the beauty of Alabama. We don't say, hey, you need 20 years of experience in the State House before I'll consider you for Senate. They're looking for people who are going to fight for them, and they're looking for name recognition. So that's what we're trying to do by starting 2 years early. I actually wrote a book called Don't Flush, and this talks about my false arrest and basically my policy proposal to protect motorists. And one of the signature pieces of legislation is called the Motorist Bill of Rights.
Okay.
And this is something that I want to distribute across the country, because we need to be more protected in our interactions with the police in every state, not just Alabama and not just in Michigan, where I was falsely arrested.
Is that where that happened?
Yes.
Again, to go back to, Lord, I don't know how many times that our parents always said, yes, sir, no, sir.
Yes.
Keep your hands visible.
Right.
But in situations like that, because as being president of our council and working very close with our police department, I see sides where the training that we provide our police officers are second to none, and they are trained so well to handle many, many dangerous situations out there. So, and I'll always say to people, just cooperate. Just
Absolutely.
cooperate. And I think for the average African American male, especially, there's a justifiably so. with history, there's a fear.
Oh, absolutely. You know, there are some people in our society who literally have anxiety about driving at night. I'm one of those people.
Right.
Because of what happened to me.
And I'm sure especially now.
Right, right. And so the Motorist Bill of Rights guides those interactions with the police. And if you think about the situation in Homewood with Mr. Jabari Peoples.
From Aliceville.
One of the key things that we want to do is make the disclosure of body cam mandatory within 24 hours without cost to the motorist. That's critical in driving the accountability on both sides.
Well, we provide. I think it's 100% now of all of our officers with body cams, and we should, because I think that's something that, whether because immediately sometimes some members of the public immediately want to say, police abuse, police, and then but you got body cam,
right.
And so there's the evidence right there,
right.
Whether they're right or whether they're wrong.
Right. Disclose it.
And disclose it.
And in my situation, I had to fight for 5.5 months to get the body cam for my false arrest.
Oh, my gosh.
5.5 months. I paid $600. And then when we get it back, it's redacted. So they took out the part where they were torturing me in the jail. They muted certain parts that were inconvenient.
Oh.
So this is what I'm talking about. We need federal legislation, and that's what I want to champion in the Senate.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. That shouldn't happen to anyone.
I'm here today now.
I know, right? Right, and with a very strong message to carry. And but my goodness, again, there's evil everywhere, and we know it, but we just got to continue. Like I said, you can only cover your area, and I know we spend countless dollars to make sure our police officers are the best trained anywhere, and to to not have something like you experienced happen in Tuscaloosa. That's for sure.
That's terrific.
So if anybody again would and look, you're not starting too early because like I said, whoever runs on the Republican side. And I said, if it is Steve Marshall, he's got a lot of name recognition to work on himself, because, as I said, I guarantee you, most people that I talk, next 10 people I see probably wouldn't even know who Steve Marshall is. Right. So if that's the one who's running. But so, I don't think you never start too early in this situation especially. But if people would like to help you out in your campaign, find out more about what we talked about today, help you out monetarily, invite you to come speak to their group, how's the best way to do that?
Reach out to us on social media or our website, DakaraLarriett.com, and our email is info@DakaraLarriett.com. So we'd love to hear from you and definitely want to reach out and meet everybody.
Well, one of the things too, people may have a hard time spelling your name,
yes.
but at the same time, having a different name will draw attention to you.
Right.
As well.
We're working on our SEO so that people can find the website. It's going to take a little bit of time. There was so much coverage after my arrest that, believe it or not, it pushed my own website down. So we're working on it.
Oh, my gosh. Isn't that something? So Dakarai like Safari.
Dakarai like Safari.
Dakarai like Safari.
Yes.
And Larriett like Larriett.
Like the last
right?
one, yeah.
So, but anyway, well, as we get closer to the time, when you come back to Tuscaloosa, you're welcome to come back and visit us.
Absolutely. Again. I will be back a lot. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Kip.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And,
so nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you as well. And stay safe on that old campaign trail.
I will.
John Merrill was a longtime friend, and I forget how many sets of tires he said that he's gone through when he was Secretary of State, because he made sure that I think every year he visited all 67 counties? Yeah, that's right. I'm saying 63 because we're 63, but 67 counties, and you find out just how big this state is.
And beautiful.
And it's beautiful. Alabama the beautiful. And the thing, we have the second most natural resources of any state in the United States, only behind California. Isn't that something? To be the size difference, but it's a beautifully rich state. So best of luck to your travels, and keep a journal.
I will.
Yeah, and we'll see you down the road.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Okay, tomorrow, by the way, we've got more guests. Great Day Tuscaloosa, including Dr. Larry Clayton, Professor Emeritus, University of Alabama History Department. So we'll talk to him, and I believe we may have another candidate from Northport municipal elections. But anyway, we'll see you back here then. Bye-bye.